Hello everyone and welcome, I'm Beastly Eel, and in today's video we're going to be doing a Marvel character spotlight on none other than Lilith. Lilith is a demon from the Marvel Universe. Her backstory, as we're going to find out, is very much up for interpretation. Apparently there are many stories, so we'll talk about her many stories of possible origin and then move on to what we know as fact. So Lilith was already old at the dawn of humanity, and her origins were lost to a hazy myth. The Fallen Angel one story tells how Lilith began as a member of the heavenly host, wife to Samuel, who became Satan. Lilith and Samuel, or more often quoted Lucifer, led the rebellion against heaven, but lost and were cast down against heaven, um, cast down into hell, along with Lucifer. Asamada, Asmodeus, and Pazuzu, among others. With Lucifer as a failure, Lilith abandoned him to seek her own future. Lilith's origin as a heavenly host's member who sided alongside Satan against heaven is the version that the Vatican stands by. According to her own tale, Earth was only populated with women who were all passion and all men were lust. An Earth god, seemingly Yahweh, crushed that earth and plucked two souls from whom he rebirthed on the recreated earth where passion was chained and innocence was set free. He created the man Adam and the woman Lilith. In her tale, Lilith states that after leaving Adam, she went to the devil, but her own account was actually Mephisto, with whom she conceived many children. The devil eventually grew bored with her and cast her out into hell. Alternatively, it is also alleged that Lilith's father were either Ari or Armon, and it is possible that she was the cousin of Pazaru through Aru. Lilith also had Shikari, Namaha, I'm sorry, Namaha, Lilu, Aradat, and Iridu as sisters. These tales contradict each other, but it is unknown whether Lilith lied about being born a human, or if the stories included her in a war in heaven are false. The problem here is that even Thor and the Valkyrie are uncertain of her true nature and origin. During the rise of humanity, Lilith seduced Adam, the first man, allegedly becoming his first wife, and produced many children by him collectively known as Masakin. She found Adam's companionship oppressive in time and abandoned him. Proposed angels murdered most of her children in response, and a grief-stricken Lilith fled to the demon cities under the Red Sea. Bitter towards humanity for her losses, Lilith vowed that humanity would suffer forever at the hands of her future children. Another account states that the self-proclaimed angels slaughtered most of her children, causing Lilith to vow that her line would dominate the world. Lilith infiltrated humanity through its early days, sometimes appearing as a goddess, sometimes as a mortal, or even a sorceress. She was active in Atlantis 20,000 years ago, opposing the original Order of the Midnight Suns. She may have been a part of Varney's original sect of Darkholders, responsible for creating the first vampires. She may have been even the mother of some of the ancients. She was imprisoned inside the corpse of a dragon-like uh, Tama, or Leviathan, by the Atlantean mages prior to the fall of Atlantis, which occurred in approximately 18,000 BC, which she survived. It is unclear, however, whether she was actually present on the continent when it actually occurred. Another account states that allegedly her remains were scattered across the earth by the three angels Sonoi, Sasasonoi, and Samagoy, also known as Sanavi, Sanasavi, and Samagolif. Despite both these accounts, her disembodied life essence was free to wander on Earth. Therefore, it is possible that many of her later actions were performed by her wandering spirit while her body remained trapped. As the gods of Atlantis were forgotten, Lilith excuse me, secreted herself among the Mesopotamian gods known as the Anu, Anunnaki. Some of the sources specify that Lilith became one of the Lalatus, a race of female wind demons affiliated with the Anaku, who terrorized children and women while seducing young men, or deteriorated into a storm demon in the desert beyond Euphrates, abducting unbaptized children and visiting men in their dreams. As centuries passed, Lilith ruled many kingdoms directly through her lovers or through her children. She dedicated much of her time to conceiving powerful lines of children, including the Lilin and Djinn, uh, the Incubi and the Succubi. Her lovers, husbands, and consorts, supposedly including angels, the fraternity god Attis, the Olympian god Zeus, and possibly even the Judo Christian god. At some point, as Lamashtu, she was prevented by her fellow underworld demon god, fallen angel, and hated rival, Pazuzu, from escaping Arikal and traveling to Earth to threaten pregnant women and newborn babies. Her enemies included many famous figures, some of whom were also tricked into fathering more children for her, and she opposed Gilgamesh in 3000 BC and Job. Over 2 millennia later, she challenged Solomon, banisher of demons, including the Lilith. Supposedly, while disguised as her daughter, the Queen of Sheba, Lilith conceived by Solomon. Decades later, she bedeviled the prophet Elijah. Over a millennia later, she reigned in the ruins of Rome and swore death to all of the newborns of humanity, or so the stories say. In the 12th century in Asia, she was trapped in a bottle by a midwife. A century later, Joseph della Rita thought to summon the Messiah by battling Lilith and her last consort, the demon Asamoldi or Azamondos, her fellow Haven cast out, from whom she spawned countless demonic offspring. Many of them were slain by the agents of heaven, and Rena was easily defeated and transformed into a dog. In the 18th century, Rabbi Elameth challenged Lilith and escaped unscathed. Now we are moving into modern day. In modern times, Lilith emerged from the body of Tiamat, who had settled in northern Greenland. She murdered a group of scientists led by Dr. Philip Henderson and Dr. Adam Bridgman that had come in to inspect the strange creature. Wishing to learn of the fate of her Lilith, aka her children, and about the modern world, she began to get really angry and discovered that they were mostly dead. She summoned them, but only the pilgrim answered the call. Lilith attempted to seduce Danny Ketch in his dreams. After the attempt failed, she asked Nightmare to attack both him and Johnny Blaze. She sent Fang after Morbius, assassins to murder Victoria Montesi, and tricked Night Stalkers into attacking Blaze and Ketch. She and Lilith, she and her children increased their attacks as the dimensional barriers protecting Earth weakened. The Midnight Suns joined forces to oppose them. Learning of the Centrius, she sought him out and formed an alliance with him. The alliance lasted only until the arrival of Zarthos, who had been trapped within Centrius. Zarthos was freed and manipulated into joining Lilith, and they conceived a child. Her children and Zarthos were banished to the shadow side, but Lilith remained pregnant and awaiting the birth of her child with Zarthos. Lilith was among those weakened by the Helfry. She witnessed Doctor Strange's gathering of the witches and produced a child to attack them. In her tour to warn the mystics of the danger, Strange passed by Lilith to warn her that he knew she was up to something and that she would not be approached by and she should not approach his proteges. Despite the warning, she and her new children attacked the girls and were destroyed by Jennifer Kale. She later attacked Doctor Strange herself. She was later imprisoned extra-dimensionally by Farah King Obrian in the universe where supernatural evil comes from, along with other evils such as Satanish, Krytork, Umar, and Merlin. During the Skrull invasion, Marlin was able to cause an MI-13 operative, Pete Winston, wisdom, sorry, to open the interdimensional nexus to release them all. They immediately were set out to conquer Britain, the first steps being to kill all scrolls on Avalon. Then, and to fulfill her debt to wisdom, all scrolls present and arrive on Britain. As well as Captain Fate, Lilith soon allied herself with, with Dracula in his plot to conquer Britain, and became a Viscountess of the Vampire Nation. Her participation included creating vampire base on the moon, providing it to be a shield keeping out the radiation, including the solar rays. And the enlargement of the new Serpent's Crown, the vampire flagship, Dracula sent vampires to attack MI-13 operatives Blade and Captain Britain with the purpose of destroying the Quincy Harker's skull, which prevented the vampires from Um, sorry, entering Britain without an invitation. She was able to provide the magical backup to those vampires due to their brain alterations. The skull, or rather a replica, was destroyed. When the vampires finally launched their assault on Britain, she used her powers to cast a barrier isolating Britain. But when she was engaged in battle by Captain Britain, once Captain Fate died, and without his curse, the new Serpent's Crown started to break up and was held together by Lilith herself. She, sorry, whoops, almost there, sorry. I lost my place. Without the curse, the crown started to break up and she held it together only by herself. She re engaged Captain Britain, and as he re entered the ship to recover Megan, whom had been delivered to Dracula by Doctor Doom, the vampire army started to burst into flames as they were trying to enter Britain uninvited. As Captain Britain's plot unveiled, Dracula ordered Lilith to stop fighting and retreat so her shield may be kept protecting the few surviving vampires who retreated to the castle on the moon, but were pursued by Megan and Captain Britain, who focused on Lilith until she was repelled to hell. Steve Rogers expected her to try to take advantage of the vampire sex turmoil following Dracula's assassination. However, it did not happen. During the war in Hell caused by the disappearance of Death, Lilith aligned with Mephisto, waging war in Hell against other demon lords, including Satana, Pluto, and Satanish. While her children were successful in defeating Satanish's legion, she criticized the efficiency of Mephisto's tormented generals. And that is the end of her comic book history at this time. So let's talk about her powers. I mean, she is depicted as different strengths depending on the way she's perceived. So in most areas, though, she's considered to have superhuman strength, which is about to be able to lift 25 tons. As the goddess Lilith possesses, she also has superhuman stamina, superhuman durability. She has vast knowledge of magical lore and magic in general. She has the ability to have energy projection, create force fields. She has what's called a death force, where she can kill someone with an invisible force. She has the ability of teleportation. She can create radiation shields. She can create vision conjuring and deviation. She can create children, not just by spawning them with other creatures, but also just creating things from her as well. She can summon them at any point, and can. Her thing is she can make her offspring stronger, but also absorb them to gain her strength back if she's used too much energy, which I think is very interesting. Her abilities includes a very big knowledge of magic, and her weakness, weirdly enough, is women, because according to legends, all her powers are less effective against women. As always, though, the power grid is out of 7 in Marvel, so her intelligence is a 3 because it's learned intelligence. Her strength is a 4 because she is able to lift up to 25 tons. Her speed is a 3, which is considered to be superhuman. However, it is a 7 most times when she teleports because she's instant. Her durability is a 6 because she has incredible durability. Her energy projection is a 6 thanks to her magic abilities. And her fighting skills are a 4 because she's a master of many types of fighting. She's an equipped learning fighting person, I guess you would say, or creature. Overall, I thought it would be interesting to do a kind of Halloween themed character for a Marvel character spotlight. I'll probably be doing something similar for the DC character spotlight next week. But for now, if there's a character you'd like me to do character spotlight on, please let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like the content, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, there's going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a wonderful night.